Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and this time I am playing in artillery. Dun dun dun! Oh no, don't worry, I'm not going to make a habit of this. I think this is the first time that I've featured a replay on this channel where I'm playing artillery in over a year. So I'm playing in the Tier 9 French self-propelled gun, the Bat-Chatillon 155-55. It's a lovely tank because it's fairly fast, not as fast as the Tier 10, so take that into account when you're chasing these down. But it also has a fully traversable turret. And that is beautiful because you don't get the gun arc on the map. You don't get those awkward situations like you do in tank destroyers and other tanks without turrets that when you turn them, suddenly your accuracy becomes really bad. It just feels like quite a nice, easy, well, I guess probably not easy, but I'd say convenient and comfortable artillery to play. And I've really been enjoying it. The only problem with this tank is that its alpha damage is rather low. It's got 155mm that has, well, great alpha damage if you only play regular tanks. 1,250 sounds like a lot, right? But its penetration is only 95, and so effectively you're kind of firing just a big old derp shell at your opponents, and they very, very infrequently go into the target unless you're shooting very lightly armored tanks. So why am I featuring this replay? Because this one is of great interest. Basically, there are 3 very skilled self-propelled gun players on the enemy team, and the percentage overall is a 42%, so we're going to have an impact. Now, why have I been playing artillery more recently? Well, it's because I really got out of practice with artillery. And when I got back into it, I was playing really badly. And now I'm not going to say that I'm the best artillery player now, because I certainly am not. But I'm trying to practice. And why is it important to also play artillery occasionally? Because you start to get to see the positions that are safe on the map and positions that are not safe. I think one of the best ways to avoid getting shot by artillery so much is to actually see where they can hit and where they can't. For example, can't hit that IS-7 there, but when we use this extra view, you can see that, and I'm going to explain about this mod pack in a second and just what this modification is. You can start to get an idea of where the safe spots are and where artillery have to locate to be able to get shots into certain locations, and so you can pinpoint artillery more easily and also know where you should probably explore a little bit to be able to try and hunt them down and take them out of the game. Remember that artillery are very vulnerable. Even though I'm a tier 9 tank, I get one shot by, gosh, pretty much the entirety of the enemy team if they manage to hit my tank directly, apart from the Bat-Chat, but he's got an autoloader, apart from the 1390, but he's got an autoloader. All of the T-30s one-shot me, the 50-120 can one-shot me if he rolls plus 10%, which is quite likely, and he's got an autoloader as well. It's only really the E50M who is not going to be able to kill me super easily if he doesn't get lucky and put in a good roll. So we hit our second shot of the game doing 415 damage to that mouse. Not the most. A lot of people think that whenever you get hit by artillery, you're going to be one shot. But with this low caliber self-propelled gun that does take quite a long time to... Well, it's actually got quite a good reload, I should say. You're not going to be taking out a mouse very quickly at all. We're going to have to hit him pretty much another 7 times if we want to take him out like that. So we kind of just need him to be stationary for 3 minutes. No problem, right? So we take a punt at this E50M, and the shell disappears, which means that we hit him. Lovely. Now, I'm moving in between my shots, which is something that's very important to do, because the enemy artillery... I'm not going to say they were watching my stream, but they might have been. But remember, whenever you fire in artillery, a shell tracer goes up. And so if the enemy artillery are looking for you, and they know roughly where you are, then they can pinpoint your location and try and take you out. And of course, the Tier 10 British self-propelled gun on the enemy team, the Conqueror gun carriage, has an almighty splash, and it takes away pretty much all of my hit points. So even if a mouse sneezes on me, and I don't mean the mouse on the... Oh, okay, we're not even going to go there. If I get sneezed on, my tank is now toast. So we're going to have to watch out for that. And of course, they're in a platoon together. So I bet you right now, considering the Conqueror gun carrier has seen how much damage he's done to me, through that splash, we're going to find a few more rounds hitting the tank. There's one. Is the other one going to hit as well? Not quite yet. There's the other one. So that means all 3 of that platoon are focusing on me. But that's actually really good for my team, because look how many of my tanks are just sitting in the open right now. If the enemy artillery is sitting here, they would be dropping bombs on all of these guys. But luckily, I'm distracting them, and that enables me to be dishing out the punishment to the enemy team, while also, I guess, gaining the attention of the 3 statistically strongest players on the enemy team. So great results so far. I'm not saying that you guys could do that, because maybe they wouldn't be so inclined to try and hunt you, unless maybe you are high up on the XVM kind of XVM focus list. So you might be noticing that I'm using a modification that's giving me a third-person view. You might be wondering, what is that? Is it legal? Well, yes, it is. When it first came out a couple of years ago, I thought, oh, this modification's got to be banned, right? Surely. But no, it actually went on to win Wargaming's developer contest. So Wargaming gave this modification a prize, not just any prize, the first prize in the competition, basically saying that we agree with this and it's quite likely that we're going to implement it into the game in the future. 2 years later they haven't done so, so I decided that I want to try it out. This is a couple of patches ago that I just tried this out for the first time, and I've incorporated it into my mod pack for the last patch at least. So what does it do? Does it make you any better? Well, no, it certainly doesn't make you any more accurate. And I actually find that if you use it too much, it doesn't really help. Because you find that you're actually kind of either going for direct hits, which make the shells less likely, rather than going for splashes as you would with the other view. So it's something that you've got to take into account. The most useful thing about this modification is I just feel it makes playing artillery more comfortable and more convenient. You can see why you can't hit the target. The reticle isn't just red. It's not just saying you can't hit here. It kind of explains, oh, it's this building that's blocking you, so maybe if you relocate and go into a different position, you're going to be able to shoot there. It really is a fantastic resource, I feel, for learning about the different positions that artillery can locate in to get effective shots, and also where you can hide to be able to avoid shells on from the enemy self-propelled guns. So we're going to fire blind here. That one doesn't quite go in, but hopefully it splashed. Now, we haven't done the largest amount of damage so far. This game is 7 minutes into it. We've done 924 damage, but we have hit quite a few blind shots. Spoilers, we're going to see that towards the end. Count down these shots that we're actually putting into these tanks. What I'm actually going to do right now is I'm going to change the focus. So just so we can see if I hit this blind shot, because I'm going to start to fire some blind rounds where I think the Jagdpanzerei 100 will be sitting. Does it go in? Yes, it does. He was sitting right there. Remember, if you don't see a splash, if you don't see your shell explode when you're playing artillery, that means you've hit the tank flush. So I was very happy with that blind shot. And it's just very predictable where that Jagdpanzerei 100 and T-30 will be effectively camping right now. They're kind of just sitting on this corner saying, all right, you drive into us. Drive into our frontal tank destroyers. And so what the artillery is actually doing right now is it's preventing them, well, kind of preventing them, as the artillery shuts down the 50B on our team, from just sitting there and forcing somebody to drive down a narrow pass towards them. On corridor maps like this, where there are very narrow positions to go through, tank destroyers, I feel, especially heavily armored ones like the Jagdpanzerei 100, can be very, very, very dominant. And mobile artillery, such as this one, can proceed to relocate and try and dig them out. Let's see if we're going to hit this blind shot as well. Just going to have a look. Do I blind fire? Can't quite remember. I'm firing a few premium rounds here. Yes, we do. It goes right over, and we hit another blind shell. That Jagdpanzerei 100 isn't going to be very healthy anymore, but we spot the enemy Conqueror gun carriage on the enemy team. That's the guy who took away 409 hit points from us earlier. Can we manage to get a shot? No, we can't quite get a shot over the hill there. That T-30 is on full health, and that means that I haven't actually been hitting the T-30. I've been hitting that Jagdpanzerei 100 the whole time. So we reload, and the game is looking neck and neck right now. Literally 10 kills apiece on either team. The enemy have got all three of their self-propelled guns left, along with the Jagdpanzerei 100 and the T-30. What I'm thinking right now is that just hopefully this T-57 heavy doesn't die, and I want to get into a position where hopefully I can activate my binoculars to be able to spot for the GW Tiger P on my team. And also, a big shout out to you, Beluga. You were watching, well, you weren't watching the stream, but you might have been, I don't know. But afterwards you said you were a fan, and I'm really, really proud to have played with you in this game. But no spoilers for the people watching this video for the first time, hey? Me and Beluga are going to do some good work at the end of this game. So sitting here with my binoculars activated, we do extend our view range out quite far. With this T-30, he's just trying to stop this Jagdtiger and T-49 from advancing, but luckily he gets set on fire and he's burning. That's 1,051 damage there. 1,144 damage that T-30 took from that shell. And so what you see me doing is starting to worry a little bit here. I'm kind of worried that they're watching my stream, and so I don't really want to sit in that bush. But if you guys aren't streaming, then I think it would have been a fine play to just sit in that bush there. I leave because I was worried that they might try and splash it, and I decide to set up here instead. And there we go, the Jagdpanzerei 100. Now remember, if I fire, it's likely that I'm going to get hit. He fires at the GW Tiger P on our team, misses him, and I decide that the Jagdpanzer 100 is going to be reloading. I have to make a move. As soon as I fire, I get spotted. Let's hope that I can avoid the shot. I should be able to re-stealth before the Jagdpanzer 100 fires at me again. And a great shot by Beluga as he takes down the GW Tiger P. Oh no, sorry, takes down the Jagdpanzer 100 in his GW Tiger P. So the artillery takes a shot at us. Luckily it flies long, and we don't go left, we go right, we hide behind the building, and we avoid getting taken out. Remember, they don't even have to hit anywhere near me to be able to take out this vehicle, especially with those high-tier artillery with their big splashes. So I want to advance into position. I want to try and spot again. That Jagdtiger's rushing down the Conqueror gun carriage. Maybe he's going to be able to shut him down. Maybe not. He is going into a nest of pigs right now. That is going to be quite awkward to try and deal with. So I want to advance. I want to see if I can get a shot around the corner onto this T-30. So I keep trying to advance just a little bit more, And we look for the shot. Will we be able to hit it? This is a big shot right now. Hopefully. I decide not to shoot him and instead go for the GW E100 who's been spotted on the enemy team. Oh, this is like a kill most of the time, right? Oh, seriously? That has to be an... Oh, how unfortunate that that one doesn't go anywhere near. That tier 10 self-propelled gun doesn't take him out. But luckily, this tank's got a fairly good reload, and so we aim at the T-30. Unfortunately, our Jagdtiger dies, and so it's now me and Beluga versus 3 self-propelled guns and a T-30. Luckily, he spotted the GW E100 for me, and he shuts him down. And now I know that the T-30 is going to come around the corner and go after Beluga, so I have to be quick. I have to take the T-30 out before he shuts my friend down. Can I manage it? Where's that T-30? Where is he? I've got my binoculars activated. I should be able to spot him. There he is. Oh, he comes around the corner and kills him very quickly. But I shut him down. Changing a 3 versus 1 situation into now a 1 versus 2 against 2 very competent players in a tier 10 and a tier 8 self-propelled gun. But luckily, I am a very evil self-propelled gun for the end of the game in these kind of situations. That's because I'm fairly fast and I've got a fully traversable turret. And having a fully traversable turret is very useful for when you're dealing with enemy artillery. And also remember that you don't have to... Having the splash is obviously very useful, and having that high penetration and big alpha damage is very nice for when you're trying to cut through heavily armored tanks. But when it comes to these self-propelled gun engagements, 90mm of penetration, 95 on the high explosive rounds that I'm using here are more than enough. Okay, we spotted the GW Conqueror. Can we get him here? Come on, round the corner. Just expose a little bit more of your track. Yes! Shot him over the dip. Now where's the M40-43? The M40-43 misses. And now I know that that tier 8 American self-propelled gun has a very long reload. And I'm in a tier 9 French self-propelled gun that is rather nippy. Let's see if we can shut this guy down. I know that he's still going to be reloading. And also, I know that he's driving into that very kind of marshy area down the pass here. And so that means it's going to take him bleeding ages to turn his tank round. I decide to not cap, but instead go for the kill. And I find that he hasn't even turned yet. He's so slow. Look how slow the tracks turn on this very, very soft terrain. Get up behind him. Oh, yes. Yes, please. Headshot. Shutting down the M40-43 on the enemy team and taking down those 2 self-propelled guns was immensely satisfying. Not just for the fact that we took down this very clutch victory at this 42%er along with Beluga at the end of the game, but I also managed to complete self-propelled gun 15 War Gods for the 3rd set of missions. And this was one of the most immensely satisfying victories for me in my recent World of Tanks history. Completing SPG-15 War Gods for the 3rd set of missions gives me another girl, which I assigned to my Skoda T50/51. And this mission is damn tricky in an artillery because you have to finish as the top player on your team by experience earned and damage caused. And you might remember from my video a couple of weeks ago that unless you're spotting for yourself in World of Tanks, you're only getting 50% of the experience, which is why those last few kills were just so important. And also surviving and winning and completing the secondary conditions of this gives you a cool 250,000 bonus credits, which makes up for the fact that I had to resupply some consumables and a lot of premium ammunition this game. So even though we're minus 40k including the bonus reward, we're up 210,000. So this was my first ace tanker in the Bat-Chat 4,000 damage done, 1,109 base experience points, and look at all these blind shots we fired against the Jagdpanzer E100. Apparently we hit him 6 times this game, 2 splashes and 4 penetrating hits, dealing a total of 1,500 damage to the tier 10 German tank destroyer. And that's one of the downsides to only having a 155mm gun on such a high tier artillery, is that towards the end of the game tanks start getting really decent armor. And that means that we only did on average 250 damage every time we hit that Jagdpanzer E100 throughout the game. But I was still thrilled to see that we hit him 6 times, considering most of those shots were blind, and he frankly shouldn't have been just sitting in such a predictable location. Other blind shots that we didn't see, we splashed the T-30 towards the start, and we also hit that E50M. So I've been playing artillery actively for about 2 months again, and I really think it's helping me to predict where an enemy artillery might be, as well as also figure out positions that I can use in my heavies and tank destroyers to be able to avoid enemy artillery fire. And while I think that artillery is an important class for the World of Tanks ecosystem, making certain tank destroyers rather afraid and preventing people just sitting hull down in open locations and preventing advances, it's certainly not a class for me, and I can't help but getting a little bit bored and twitchy and frustrated if I try and play more than 3 to 5 games in these vehicles. But I'm getting so close now to completing my account. There's only 4 tanks that I need left in the game: the Type 4 Heavy, the Type 5 Heavy, the Bat-Chatillon 155-58, and of course the infamous T92. As well as needing to play artillery to get the final female crew member for the Object 260 set of self-propelled gun missions, which I'm already making my way through now. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like down below. It really helps the channel out. And use that more info icon in the top right hand corner of your screen to see a plethora of other self-propelled gun replays. And once again, the comment section on this video is going to be very interesting, considering it is a self-propelled gun replay. But as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.